When I first heard the news, I didn't believe it.
It was an awful day. I remember it being an awful 2 or 3 days.
My mother-in-law was trying to reach me. She said that there had been a bombing.
My wife and I literally missed all this by 60 or 90 seconds.
I'm Nancy Farrington.
I'm Reverend Katie Scudera.
This is Jack McDonald.
I'm Reverend Kim Crawford Harvey.
And this is my memory of the Boston Marathon bombing.
10 years ago. It was Marathon Day, my favorite day in Boston still. Whenever it was cold, I would come through the Prudential Center, and I'm sauntering along, and the whole complex shook. Then the building shook a second time. I thought the whole complex was coming down on top of me, and simultaneously the siren started. And we came out here, and the whole of Ring Road, half a block from the second explosion, was filled with people screaming, crying, saying awful words like blood and arms, and running, running, running. So I ran home, and I turned on the television.
My two sons ran in the 2013 Boston Marathon, and we decided to go into the Apple Store. It was a great place to watch them. My second son passed, and a few minutes later, my oldest son, Brian, came by, and we left the Apple Store and started walking towards the finish line. And as we were walking, my wife and I saw the first bomb go off. About a minute later, the second bomb went off literally 50 yards behind us. I was very, very, very scared about Nicole, who's now our daughter-in-law. She would have been right near the second bomb. The city was in chaos, and it took us a while to find the boys, to find Nicole. And we did not know this until we saw a video. We were literally inches from the younger brother, Zanarev, as well as his bomb. Seeing that we were so close to death or serious injuries made us incredibly grateful, but also incredibly sorry for those that did lose their life, their limbs, and their health.
On the day of the bombing, I was outside of the city. What I remember was driving much too fast to get down to the church. I arrived hours after the bombs had gone off. Downtown had gone eerily silent. Normally after the marathon, for hours, people are laughing and they're sitting on our front steps having something to eat or drink, and they're, checking their phones for the returns on the race, and it was just nothing. My parking lot was empty. It was just silent. I do remember I ran into one runner who had finished before the bombs had gone off, and he was incredibly disoriented. He had gone from this complete elation to just shattered. And I think a lot of us felt that way.
I remember being concerned about Arlington Street Church, where I was the ministerial intern, because I knew how close the congregation was to the finish line. The first time I came back down to Arlington Street the next day, Copley was just it was a ghost town, and it was quite eerie. We realized we actually could host a vigil to help give some spiritual support to our neighbors and for runners and their families who were still in town. To be able to commune together after the bombing helped me know that there was a community out there who believed in peace and who was also as upset as I was. I did develop a stress ulcer. My body was reacting to the level of stress and adrenaline of living in the area during that period.
It's classic PTSD. Never occurred to me. I guess we're all affected by that.
Being back here today to see the monuments, to recount the tragedy, the emotion, I think brings me even closer to the marathon than I've ever been before. The Boston Marathon will be here forever, and it's going to get better and better every year.
This is an old city, and we're still standing. Boston strong.